Are you a blogger or influencer with a booked and busy schedule? Are you tiptoeing on the edge of overwhelm? Well, today I am sharing 5 self-care tips specifically for bloggers and influencers. Let's get into it. Hey, I'm Cherith. Welcome back to my channel. Here, I love helping women be unapologetic about putting themselves first. And today, I want to talk about self-care for bloggers and influencers. Let's go. My first tip is to be you. Y'all, there are so many bloggers out here in these blogging streets, and it is so easy to get wrapped up in what everyone is doing. You will burn yourself out very easily trying to mimic others. You need to get in your lane and stay in your lane. The easiest thing for you to do is to be you. You already know how to do it. And it's very, very, very telling if you're not being yourself. So my first self-care tip for bloggers and influencers is to just be you. Number 2, exercise regularly. That's kind of my go-to for everything. Whenever I'm starting to feel overwhelmed and super stressed out, I have learned that when I take the time to exercise regularly, it really helps me to pull myself together, get myself together, and get on whatever it is that I have to do. When you work out, it helps you to just, I don't know, I struggle doing it, but when I do it, I feel better. It's one of those things that I can't really explain. I'm pretty sure there's some science behind it, but when I work out, I am better equipped to deal with things that come my way when I get stressed out. So make some time to exercise regularly to keep yourself in check so that you can get through the day. Number 3, give yourself grace. Y'all, you can look at other bloggers and influencers' websites and their Instagram pages, and they look great. And then you start comparing yourself and you feel like you are just not on their level. Y'all, that is the quickest way to burn out and overwhelm and stress. You don't need to do that. Again, if we go back to that number 1, you need to do you. Do what you're capable of and give yourself some grace. If you're like me, you're still kind of new to this, so you're learning along the way. And there are some things that you can use for inspiration, but don't get yourself bogged down with trying to be exactly what everyone else is. You don't know the story behind it. There are so many bloggers who have teams that are helping them to write and push content out. And you may not be at that level yet, so please don't get yourself stressed out and overwhelmed trying to be what they are. You need to do what you can do. You need to stay in your lane and you need to give yourself grace until you can get where they are. Another thing is you don't know how long someone else has been blogging and how much money they're putting into that. So don't compare yourself to the surface. Don't compare yourself without knowing everything that goes into what you see that you're trying to be, because you don't know what it took to get there. You may be needlessly being hard on yourself when you're not even in the same game. You can't compare apples and oranges. So just be mindful of that when you're starting to feel stressed and overwhelmed. Give yourself some grace. Number 4, eat healthy foods. I know that it can be so much easier when you're writing and when you're creating content to just grab, some junk food, but you really need to find foods that are going to properly nourish your body so that you can do the things that you need to do. Try your best to find healthy snacks to replace that junk food and make sure that you're eating. I know sometimes when you're working really hard and you're trying to get a task completed, it can be very easy to skip meals, but you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you are taking care of your body because you need to be healthy in order to do the things that you need to do as a blogger. Number 5, create and stick to boundaries. That's another thing that's really important. And you need to create some boundaries when it comes to blogging. It is so easy to get wrapped up in doing things and spending all of your time working on blog posts, searching for opportunities, pitching brands. There's so much editing, taking pictures. There's a lot that goes into this, but you need to create some boundaries. One of my tips is to have a specific day for a specific task. Just be really mindful to make yourself a calendar that's going to work for you and work on tasks that are going to work for you, but you need to create and set those boundaries. That way you're not getting overwhelmed because you're just working. You have to remember that, especially if you have a full-time job. Like I work full-time, so I can't work on my blog 24/7, but I feel obligated to really, really put in that night oil when I get home. But my body needs sleep at some time, so I have to cut it off at some point, and you need to make sure that you're doing that because you don't want to stress yourself out. I know how you can feel like you're right on the edge of getting something done and you want to get it completed. And sometimes that's okay, but you can't do that regularly because you're definitely going to lead yourself to overwhelm and stress, and you don't want to do that. These are just 5 simple self-care tips to help bloggers and influencers. There are so many more things that you can do to help yourself to be your best self as you're on this blogging and influencer journey. If you are looking for more self-care activities that you can do, go ahead and check out this video right here where I list several self-care activities that you can do. I'll meet you over there.